Hey everyone, this week we have the last of the Fox bodies about a 1993 Ford Mustang Cobra by GMP, and we have an IROC-Z by, who is it again? Sunstar. Okay. Some of you might already start complaining that these cars aren't similar enough. That's not a fair comparison. It's not my fault. They don't make what should be maybe a 1992-ish Z28 with the one LE package. So I'm kind of at the mercy for the closest I can get, which is this IROC. The IROC was from about 1985 to 1987, so it's not really the end of the line for the third gen, the way the Cobra is the end of the line for the Fox body. Let's start out with the Mustang. This is very similar tooling to the 92-ish convertible I did a few months back. I have no idea why, but the front wheel does not roll. Wonderful GMP quality, I guess. The Cobra was kind of the zenith in many ways of the Fox body. It was the kind of send-off before the new body style started in '94. These are pretty much the nicest Fox body diecast you can buy. Weldy on the low end, GMP on the high end. You have reclining seats, you've got seat belts with metal buckles, you've got carpeting. The underhood detail happens to be very good. That GT40 intake manifold is largely the hallmark of the Cobra. You do have a working prop rod. One of the failures, the headlights and fog lights are pretty low end. You see the peg in the middle. Not really a fan of that. Paintwork's okay. Panel fitment, not great. This is a reissue of a diecast from 15 years ago. I had this in black. I traded it for a much more valuable diecast. It's currently offered again in black, red, and teal. I personally think teal is the coolest color. You've got carpeting in the trunk, simulated hatch struts, which is nice. Underneath, you've got some pretty decent detail. You've got simulated brake lines, which is kind of nice. This is car number, hard to read, almost impossible to read. It looks like 376 out of, I think, 798. Retail was about $139. I got this from Toronto Motorsports in Canada for about $90. And at that price, again, I'm not mad at it. The packaging, GMP packaging is kind of neat. It's a little different. There's your retail box, again, marked one of 798. The clamshells are kind of neat with that little center marquee that you take off to open up the clamshell. The antenna comes in a separate Ziploc bag. Very easy to lose if you're not paying attention. So next up, we've got the Sunstar Camaro. Sunstar, over maybe 15 years ago, had released the first third gen, starting with the 82 Z28s. This is more recent. The IROC-Zs are maybe a couple-year-old release at the most. Wheels aren't bad, not exactly the right finish, I'd say. That's more of a machined look in real life. This is just like a silver painted finish. The T-tops are removable, which is always neat, but oddly the rear hatch is in place. You've got carpeting in the trunk. Interior detail's pretty decent. You've got carpeting again. Engine detail. This looks to be probably an 85, because this looks like it's predating what they call tune port injection. This is an HO 5-liter. The 5-liter, oddly, was the only way to get a manual. Kind of the neatest version of this was a TPI 5-liter with a stick, because a TPI 350 you could only get with an automatic. Paint quality, again, pretty good. Underneath, detail is decent. The exhaust tips are pretty lackluster. They're solid. This is not numbered. This is not a limited edition. It doesn't pretend to be. Retail is oddly high at about $79, which I don't see how it's quite worth that. I got this from Modelissimo in Germany for about $30 US, which I think is worth it. I think that's what this car's worth. The packaging, nothing special. Typical Sunstar release. Window box, not numbered, nothing special. So that's it for this week. Again, maybe a couple more weeks of these pairs. If you guys are overseeing pairs and want to see individual cars, you're welcome to comment. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Have a good one.